I think the Easter story is important for the military community for two reasons. One is that within the story we have the person of Jesus Christ who stands in the place of us. We cannot be in that place. He is the one who stands so that we can know the victory over sin and death. He goes to Calvary, he goes to Jerusalem to suffer. We cannot be in that place, and Jesus stands in that place for us. And I think the strong parallel for the military community is that they stand in that place too, sometimes of despair, sometimes of destruction, sometimes of horror, knowing that what they do will bring about victory, we hope, safety, freedom, and ultimately peace. So the standing in the place of someone else, I think, is particularly important. But the second message I see coming through the Easter story is that of hope. We have right throughout the Lenten and Passion narrative a story of Jesus talking about suffering, but ultimately his resurrection on the third day, which brings hope. I think for the military community, there's always got to be that sense that when the military person is engaged on operations, whether they're at home or abroad, are bearing the burden of whatever the world needs, but for the sake of hope, to maintain peace, to bring about freedom, and to preserve that security we're looking for.
I think the Easter story is really relevant within the military community. It offers something of hope, of forgiveness and purpose. And the thing that I turn to each year when I consider the Easter story, the resurrection story, is where Mary is in the garden and she hears what she thinks is the gardener's name, calling her name. And as soon as she hears Jesus calling her name, she recognises it as him. Something very much about an identity, a purpose. She is special. And when people are wondering what's going on in the world, they are precious, they are cherished, and they are someone of real significance when they hear that name.
Easter it brings military personnel and their families a sense of hope and coming together in the time of the year, just to pause, to take that moment to reflect and to look also into what is beyond that.
So the Easter story is particularly relevant, I find, as I serve with submariners, as a massive part of being a submariner is surfacing, rising again from the sea. Very important. And somebody suggested I stood by the main hatch just as we opened. And when we opened it, the smell was amazing. It was amazing because we'd been underwater for some time and we breathed safe but rarefied, purified air, which doesn't seem to smell a lot. So when the hatch was opened after we'd risen again, then the smell was intense. It was like your normal seaside smell, but turned up to 11. And so the Easter story hinges on the death and the resurrection of Jesus. Jesus rising again. And there's a sense of how we, as we join in Jesus' resurrection, that we find life in its intensity turned up, and we find a sense of light, like we won't have known before.
The last time I was in Ops, when I was in the Middle East, we gave each of our serving personnel an Easter egg, which contained a dog tag cross, which they could wear alongside their other ID tags, with a bag of Haribo and a special Easter message for them. And each person on any of the Ops that we were part of in the Middle East received one of those at Easter time. A very special thing for us as chaplains to be able to offer them. This Easter, on Anglesey at RAF Valley, we are giving each serving person and their family a stress heart. One of these foam hearts on which we've printed the words, "Cast your cares on God, God cares for you." It's funded by the Methodist Forces Board, and we're really grateful that through their support we're able to reach out to our serving personnel and their families at Easter time.
Some of the things I've done, I've led a quiet meditation in the Remembrance Garden on Good Friday with just 2 or 3 people gathered, a few meditations, some silence and music, just to mark that moment of, wow, this is us remembering again Jesus' death. Knowing the resurrection is to come, but remembering that in a significant way. And often on Good Friday, people are it's a bank holiday, people are working from home or are going home on the Friday, so it's quiet and it's peaceful. Easter egg hunts are always great fun for the whole community. The station I serve at the moment, we have a school really close to the community, what we call behind the wire, so it's within the RAF station boundary. So the children will all come over and we'll do Easter egg hunts with cardboard Easter eggs so that they don't fill themselves up, and then we can do some equal sharing out. But that's a really good way of engaging with the parents and the mums and the dads when they've finished work as well, pick the children up from school.
In the Royal Navy, there are regulations that state there has to be an act of worship on board every vessel every Sunday. So one of ship's personnel will be designated as the church officer and will be responsible, if there isn't a chaplain on board, of leading an act of worship every Sunday, which of course includes over Easter. So this Easter, as with all other Easters, going back for a very long time, then there will be an act of worship Easter Sunday on board every naval vessel.
I was so fortunate last year that we put together the Easter Tenebrae service, and it was a good turnout from the Christian community of sisters and brothers who came, and also people who had no faith, who are exploring and inquiring. Who came and to be part of the service, and those who have lost loved ones as well. So it was a moment for them just to find that closure in their grief, in their journey, in their sense of seeking for hope.